Hello, welcome to my channel, Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and I am here to do an announcement of my TBR for the A to Z Horror Reading Challenge. This was a challenge created by John at Books of Blood, and this is an October challenge to read horror. And let me read you what the prompts are and what the rules are. Rule number 1. Have fun. Rule number 2, you do not have to do every challenge in the prompt. You may pick and choose. Rule number 3, any and all challenge prompts may be combined. Rule 4, short stories, novellas, and novels are all eligible. Rule number 5, you do not have to fulfill every challenge prompt. Now, I'm going to give you my tentative TBR with the prompts. This is subject to change. I might see someone else's video and say, I want to do that one more than the one I picked right now, and I will. Or people might chime in and say, why don't you consider this for that prompt? Okay, chime in if you think there is a better prompt. So what I'm going to do is basically do all short stories and a few novellas. Because in October, I'm reading a rather complicated book for October, and that's going to take a lot of brain power. So no novels for this challenge, at least for me. So not every letter of the alphabet is part of this challenge. There are some missing. That's okay. So prompt A. A is for apocalypse. Read a story of the apocalyptic or apocalyptic horror. Ugh. I'm going to read the short story, The Immortals by Martin Amis. It is a story of a nuclear apocalypse with people who become immortal. Good short story. B. B is for body horror, a short story of body horror. I am going to read the novella, The Fly by George Landelin. I've read it before. It's a great little short story. If you've seen the original movie version, there is something that happens in that movie that never really is explained fully. But in the short story, it comes back with a vengeance. Prompt C. C is for creepy kid. Read a short story about a creepy kid or evil child. I'm going to double dip on this one just because I want to, because evil children are great. I'm going to read It's a Good Life by Jerome Bixby, famously filmed with the Lost in Space kid for the Twilight Zone. And I'm also going to read Born of Man and Woman by Richard Matheson. And that was 4 pages. Why not include it? That's why I'm double dipping. Prompt E. E is for extreme horror, a story of extreme horror. For that, I'm going to read When Darkness Loves Us by Elizabeth Engstrom. I also own that on Kindle, so I might do it in my Kindle version. But that is a story of a 16-year-old girl who's pregnant, newly married, who gets trapped in an underground system of caves to give birth and exist in total darkness with her child. Really kind of gross, but a fabulous, fabulous little novella. Prompt F. F is for folk horror, a story of folk horror. And for that is going to be on my Kindle. And that is going to be They, V-I-Y, by Nikolai Golko. He was a 19th century Ukrainian author writing in Russian and is one of the all-time great Russian short stories. And you get to meet They. G. G is for gothic horror. Read a short story of gothic horror. And that one, I got to go back to this book. I am going to read Don't Look Now by Daphne du Maurier. I have never read this story before, so she's known for her gothic horror, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a gothic horror, but you know, it's included in a horror anthology, so we'll just say it's good enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. Prompt number H. H is for haunting. Read a story of a haunting, be it in a house, person, or object. And I'm returning to my Kindle once again, and I am going to read number 13 by M.R. James, a story that I have never read before. I have read some M.R. James short stories, but not that one. L. L is for Lovecraftian. Read a story of cosmic or Lovecraftian horror. That one, I'm going to go with Japanese Lovecraftian horror. Yeah, try to top that. And that is Straight to Darkness by Tamono Shoy. You just watch my video on mispronouncing foreign names. But Japanese Lovecraftian horror. I've never read it before. M. M is for monster. Read a short story about a natural or supernatural monster. I'm going to read the novella It by Theodore Sturgeon. This is supposedly the short story that was the idea for the Swamp Thing or the Man Thing comics. So, gotta be pretty good. O. O is for occult. Read a story of occult horror. I am going to read The Skull of the Marquis de Sade. Now, old fogies like me will remember the movie The Skull, and that skull scared the bejeebies out of me when I was a little kid. So I want to read that short story. P. P is for psychological. Read a story of psychological horror. And going back double dipping into this book again, I am going to be reading The Master of the Hounds by Algis Burgess. This is a short story of a couple who go on a weekend getaway, and they are trapped by a madman with Doberman pinschers. It was made into a movie called To Kill a Clown, starring Alan Alda as the psychopath. Prompt number S. S is for supernatural. Read a story of supernatural horror. And for that, I'm going to dig into a book highly recommended by Michael K. Vaughan. I have read this short story many, many years ago when I was in college, and that is going to be The Children of the Kingdom, T.E.D. Klein. I think it's going to be great. Prompt Y. Y is for young adult. Read a YA horror story. I'm skipping. Prompt Z. Z is for zombie. Read a zombie story. I picked up this anthology many years ago. I read one or two stories in it, but not all of them. This is The Dead Walk. This is just filled with zombie stories. And the zombie story I'm going to be reading is The Righteous Rise. It is by Robert M. Price. Robert M. Price is more known as a theologian or a scholar, claiming the Jesus Christ was an entirely mythological creation. And that is my tentative TBR. Go ahead and comment. Should I delete a story and add a story? Make recommendations. Make this interactive. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.